By the middle of 1944, reports from Europe stated the German army was using a heavy tank called the PZK PFW Tiger. The American Persian medium seemed to provide an answer to this new threat. Eventually, the Persian medium was not enough. The German army was already producing bigger tanks like the Tiger II. On the 14th of September, 1944, the U.S. forces started developing and manufacturing new heavy tanks. One of those new heavy tanks was the T30. The T30 was designed to be a heavy tank with a 155mm gun. The T30 entered the testing programs in April of 1948. Though late to the war, the T30 underwent trials but never saw mass production. The T30 was very helpful in testing new equipment. This helped with development of later tanks. The T30 has a long history in World of Tanks. It started out as a very good and above average performance Tier 10 heavy tank. Eventually the tank was nerfed several times. This resulted in the T30 falling to the back of the line. The T30 was eventually transformed into a Tier 9 tank destroyer. This made the tank more enjoyable once again, but the T30 may never see its glory days ever again. What's up everyone, WizardKen here with another Xbox 360 video. Today we're going to be going over the T30. That's right, boys and girls. We finally have the T30. Now some of you guys knew I had the T30 since like Tuesday, but we haven't done a review on it yet. I wanted to really work on this tank a little bit because this can be a tricky tank. It really can. It can be also very, very nasty too. As you guys are watching the gameplay right now, you're going to see me do some nasty hits on some pretty decent sized tanks and stuff like that. So, but anyways, let's talk about this a little bit. As we talked about in the intro, technically there's 4 tanks that were in development when the Tigers originally came out and then the Tiger 2s came out. There was the T29, T30, and then there's 2 other tanks. Now, I can't remember what were the other ones, but basically, these 2 main ones we're going to focus on right now because why? They have pretty much the same body style as each other. You know, the turret's kind of the same. The hole's kind of the same. The only difference is what size gun they have on the front of this thing. And to be honest with you, it's a nasty, nasty gun once you get the 155 unlocked. But anyways, during the war, these tanks were never, ever really placed into battle. They only went through test runs and stuff like that. They just didn't make it out of the testing and everything in time, which is a shame because these would have been pretty badass on the battlefield to watch them. But they had the T29 and T30 were very significant in their own ways because a lot of the things that they did with those tanks, they changed out the engines all the time. They changed out the transmissions. And not because the transmissions or engines were bad. It was just because they were trying out new things. And really, the T30 and T29 were transitional tanks. They really helped develop the next big and best tank, after them. So they really did their part post-war and stuff like that. But really, they're pretty neat tanks. Now, the cool thing about this tank is that not only does it have a real-world historical background, but in World of Tanks, this has been a very controversial tank. I don't even know if that's the right word to really say about this tank. It's been one of those tanks that people have looked at and since the beginning, and it's been a back and forth kind of thing. Oh, it's too OP, it's not OP enough, blah blah blah, stuff like that. That's why I added that little segment at the beginning of the intro. Really, when this tank came out, it was a pretty badass tank, and it was one to be reckoned with. But unfortunately, it did get nerfed down, and then it eventually had to become a tier 9 because it playing in a tier 10 was just a little bit too much, for the state that it was in. and unfortunately that sucks. But at least now you can get, you know, tier 8s and 9s, you know, some tier 7 battles, but I rarely ever seen tier 7s in this. But anyways, but the nice thing is you can still see tier 8s and tier 9s majority of the time, and then I see tier 10s here once in a while. So it is a nice tank, especially once you get the 155. This thing could be a nasty tank. Now, let's start talking about some of the main factors of this tank. The hit points is 1,650, which isn't bad. That means you're going to be able to take a couple of hits. Now, the hold isn't the greatest, but the turret is one of your best friends. You could do a really great hold down with this tank and take on a lot of people. And that's one of the pros that a lot of people talk about, is that this tank by itself can stand its own to an extent. Like, it can last a while on its own if you've got a good hold down position to be able to take on other tanks. You can really make another tank run and piss its pants. Even a T110, E5 or E3 or E4 worry about this tank, because it can do just as much damage as they're producing out, pretty much. Because this is the same barrel as the T95, or same gun as the T95 once you get it unlocked. The price on this thing is like 3.5 mil, so it will cost you a little bit once you go to buy it. The speed limit is about 35 kilometers an hour, which is not bad for a big hunk of junk. It's not really a junk, but you know what I'm saying. You're driving Miss Daisy's big ass car in this damn thing. It's not as bad as the T95 or the Tortoise, but still, I mean, it's a pretty big tank. But it's nice because it does have a fully rotating turret. Now, the whole armor on this is 102 in the front, 76 in the side, and 51 in the rear. Not terrible, okay, but it's not the best. Pretty much any tier 7, tier 8 could pretty much pen you in the front of this thing. That's why this tank is a very good hold down tank. You get that lower and upper plate covered, and you're fucking golden. It's amazing. I love doing that with this tank. There's a lot of maps that are really good for this tank, and there's some that are just shit, and you just hope for the best on them. Anyways, the turret armor. Now, this is why I say this is a great hold down vehicle. It's because the armor on the turret is 279 in the front. That is badass. That means this thing could take a hit in the front and keep on kicking. Now, they could take out your gun, your barrel, but that's okay. You know what? I'd rather have my gun taken out than me taking damage. Even though sometimes I'm pissed because my gun is taken out and it takes forever to aim in. You get 127 on the side and 102 on the rear. That's still not bad armor. I mean, yeah, people are still going to be able to pen you on the side and the rear, but still not bad. It's pretty round shaped, as you guys can see as we're driving around. But the armor in the front is amazing, and that's where you are going to need to use this tank properly, which is, like I said, hold down position. Now, the traverse speed of the turret is only 18 degrees a second. It really is a bad factor in this tank. Now, if you turn your tank and the turret at the same time, it does speed up that process, so remember to do that. The view range on here is a little laxy, 380 meters with the top turret and everything. Now, I do have the binoculars on here and stuff like that, so it does help out a little bit more. Anyways, guys, this is a pretty nasty tank. Now, the traverse speed is on just the tracks itself is 20 degrees a second, but it's not terrible. So, but anyways, guys, let's get into the armor and the equipment that I have on this thing, and then we'll take it out for another spin, and I'll talk about how I feel about the tank while we're there. So let's talk about the armor and the weak spots. Alrighty, guys, here we are looking at the front of this beast of a fucking tank. I mean, that barrel is just nasty big, as you can see. It's pretty nasty. Anyways, let's look at the bottom part of the hull. Of course, the lower plate is going to be a dead giveaway shooting at and getting. This is where I get hit most of the time when I'm not able to do a hold down position or anything like that. Not able to cover that lower and upper plate. I usually get shot in the front pretty easily. If you look on the left side of the upper plate, there's like a little gunner port. That is only 70 millimeters of fucking armor. The rest of it is the 102 on up, but that little spot is 70 millimeters, and it's a very easy spot to hit. I implore you guys to shoot that spot if you have a chance to do it, because it's very easy to hit. But really, all over this place, you're gonna do great. Also, you can hurt, like, you know, the gunner right there. Also, I keep saying also a lot. Fucking hate when I do that. On the right side of the tank that we're looking at right now, there's the viewport. I can't get any closer. There's a viewport on the upper part of the hull, and that is where your driver sits. That is a good spot to shoot. Take out your driver. I get hit there a lot. I get hit there, and the, you know, that little gun port, and I'm usually suffering. Sometimes I get hit in the barrel, and they take out my barrel, but so what? But yeah, it's usually my driver that dies pretty easily in this tank. Moving up just a little bit on the top of the turret, you can see that there is a hatch, just like most of the American, you know, tanks. They have pretty bulky hatches that stick up, and they're pretty easy to hit and pen and stuff like that. So if you see this tank in a hold down position, to be honest with you, it's gonna suck shooting at this freaking hatch on the top. As you can see, it does stick up, but not as bad as like the M103. I mean, not the M103, the T110, E3, E4, and E5. Now the E3, if you tried, you know, shooting the hatch, for some reason it's impenetrable, even though it's pretty much the same thing as the T110, E4, and E5. But yeah, we're not gonna get into that and why I feel that's dumb. Anyways. But yeah, the E4 and the E5, the hatches are usually what I shoot at when I can't hit anything else. But yeah, the T110 E3, the hatch is like impenetrable for some fucking reason. Anyways, moving to the side real quick. Alrighty guys, so we are on the side right now. We're going to start with the bottom part of the hull on the back. Of course, just like most American tanks, the engine's in the back. So this back portion of the hull is very good to shoot out and get, you know, take out the engine. I usually don't have a problem with that because, as you can see, even though it doesn't have a lot of spaced armor, it's barely even protecting the upper part of the tracks. It does help a little bit with stopping runs from going through. And look at how much shit is in between the tracks and the hull itself. I mean, there's a lot of shit in there, so you're gonna hit something and it's probably not gonna go through and hit the engine, but you still do damage most likely. Now, of course, this whole freaking side is a easy target for anybody to shoot at. It's very easy to take out majority of this tank anywhere on the side. I mean, I know on the pictures it doesn't show like the entire turret is easy to pen, but it really is. I mean, there are some angled areas and this and that, but you can shoot pretty much anywhere on this and kill somebody. Now you can see there's the commander hatch. You can shoot there and take someone out, and then you got a little hatch in the front and left, and if you follow that straight down along the side of the turret, that's where you're going to kill the gunner of the main gun and stuff like that. So if you ever see this thing on its side, please try shooting it. I've done that a couple of times, and I've tear these tanks up. Now that I had the 155, it's pretty nasty. So, now as you can see, there's a little portion, you can see in the back end of the turret where the bottom portion of it kind of is beveled inward a little bit. If you look from the back, you can see it kind of angles at a 75-degree angle on the wing, pretty much back and forth. Now right in there is a good spot to hit if you want to try to take out the ammo and ammo wreck somebody. I've been shot there a couple of times. Usually it's because it's near the end of the game and my team's losing, so this usually isn't a problem majority of a game. It's usually not a bad thing to get hit at until the very end when you know you're going to die. But usually by then you're not going to repair anything anyways, because you know you're going to die. So you might as well just get one more shot in and then save your repairs for everything else. Alright guys, so looking on the back of this, as you can see, of course, the whole ass end of the hull is going to be a nasty spot to hit. Now if you look at the turret, as you can see in the pictures, pretty much the entire back end of this thing is going to be a good spot to hit. Of course, little bottom left sections where it's like at a 75-degree angle, and on the right section you can see that's kind of where they store some of the ammo and stuff. So if you can hit there, not a bad spot. But I would just say fuck trying to ammo rack this thing. Just shoot it in the freaking turret. It's going to take them 2 years and a day to turn this thing around to shoot at you. So you're better off just flanking this tank. That's really the best way to kill this tank. If you can't kill it in the front because it's got a good hold down, if you can get around it, it's very easy to flank and very easy to take out from then on. Now, looking on the right side of the tank, as you can see, starting on a hull again, of course, the back left panels are the engine. The side is all exposed in the sense of getting shot. There is a little bit of spaced armor, but not enough to really do shit. It's more like a mud flap kind of thing. I don't even know if they consider that as a real spaced armor. I don't even know if the game mechanics, as you can see, it's pretty thin. So I don't even know if the game mechanics really consider it as a spaced armor kind of feature. Anyways, as we talked about, the back part of that left wing, or the right ring right now, wing is a good spot to shoot for ammo racking. Also, as we talked about before, shooting in that area where there is a small hatch, not the commander's hatch, but the small hatch, good spot to shoot to kill the loader, possibly the gunner, and then up front a little bit more, you could shoot the gunner also and take them out. As we were talking about this tank and all its weak spots, it seems like there's not a lot of bad weak spots, but it is kind of flimsy. It is a flimsy tank. I mean, the T29 body style pretty much on a tier 9 tank doesn't help you out very much. The main point of this tank is to be a supportive tank and to use the hold down. I mean, you can get up in there and fight, but you got to make sure that you have got that upper and lower plate protected. You can only show your turret on a lot of things, and even then, you have a chance of getting your ass kicked because some of those tanks, like the Waffentrager off Panzer IV, the tier 9 Waffle TD is pretty fucking accurate. I take these tanks out a lot, the T30s, and I hit them in the commander's hatch. They have nasty penetration, and I use the 12.8 on the 12.8 centimeter on the Waffle, so it's pretty nasty. And then you've got tier 10 Waffles that, I mean, have 6 rounds that they can blow into your ass, and they have quick aiming and reload timing in a single mag. So it's pretty. You can get killed pretty easily, but there are times where you can sit out there for pretty much the entire game and do some serious damage and nobody really do anything to you. So that's just one thing to remember. This tank is very situational. There are going to be good maps and there are going to be bad maps. You just kind of work out what you can do on each map. Alright, looking at the packages. Now, there's a couple different packages you can get for this tank. Now, of course, starting off, you're going to have the 105mm. But really, to be honest with you, no one's going to really use this barrel because there's a package that automatically unlocks on here. This thing shoots 7 rounds a minute, 198 pen, 320 damage. Not the greatest. This is the 120mm that you had on the T28 prototype. This is the same barrel or same gun, whatever you want to call it. So this one actually increases the penetration pretty nicely. 248 in pen, 400 in damage. Pretty nice. 6.19 in rate of fire. Not bad. Now the accuracy, look at the accuracy and the aim time. 2.5 seconds for aim time, and then accuracy's 0.37 to 0.38. Not exactly where I would like a tank destroyer to be at. Of course, once you get enough money, you'll be able to unlock the T30 120 up top. Pretty much all you're gaining is a freaking you're getting new tracks, and you're also getting no, that's it. Okay, I thought you were getting a new engine. That's not until the next part. But anyways, you get new tracks, so that kind of sucks. And then you have to save all the way up to, I think it was 111,000. It was up there, just to get the 155mm, which sucked. And then also the only thing you're getting too is a engine. But let me tell you something, guys. Some of you guys are like, well, why did you buy it? Because you could just go to the T110D4 from here. I mean, it wouldn't be that bad. No, it wouldn't. I could have stayed with the 120mm. It was a pretty decent barrel. But once you get your hands around this 155 gun and you start seeing the devastation, I mean, you guys are already seeing some of the videos of me playing. This is a nasty fucking barrel. Let's take a look at it real quick. Alright, so we're going to do about 3 rounds a minute. And that's about right. It takes about, what, 15-20 seconds. We'll check once we get into the game. Aiming time is almost 3 seconds. That hurts you. It really does. So you're going to want your gun rammer and also your gun laying drive. Those are the 2 things I have in there, and also binoculars, but we'll go over that in a minute. You're going to want those things on there and get your crew's perks and skills up, because it's going to take forever to aim in. Accuracy is 0.37 to 0.38. Same as last time, but like I said, it could be better. 276 pen. Awesome. But this is the next thing. 750 damage. That is badass. Now, the heat rounds, the HE rounds, as you can see, do 90 penetration, 950 damage, which we all know, you know, like the FV uses that and stuff like that. I've played with both, and to be honest with you, I prefer the armor piercing rounds, though I don't always do, you know, I'm not doing like the 950 damage on up. I'm still doing decent damage. I usually do anywhere between 700 on up, you know, depending on where I hit somebody. So it's still pretty nasty, and that's fine with me. I'll probably try out the HEs later on again just to see how they do for me, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to stay with the armor piercing, the regular rounds. Now we are going to look at the consumables real quick. As I was saying, you can see the damage for the regular armor piercing is anywhere between 563 to 938. Usually when I hit the 500 damage mark, usually that's like a big ass tank, possibly like a E100. Sometimes I use, you know, depending on where I hit them. Like if I hit them in the side where their spaced armor is, sometimes that fucking sucks and I don't do as much damage. But if I hit them in their lower plate, I can usually do a good 700, you know, 900 damage to an E100, and that's pretty nasty for a fucking tank destroyer tier 9. I mean, that's pretty nasty. I have torn up a lot of mouses with this tank. I have put a beating on their asses because I do so much penetration and damage. Now, as you can see, the high explosives do anywhere between 713 to 1,188. I have to say that that's kind of bull hockey sticks. The reason why I say that is because I used the high explosives the other day, and I used them on different tanks, hit them in different weak spots and this and that, and I was getting, you know, sometimes I would get like 1,000 roll, but majority of the time I was doing about the same roll as I was with the armor piercing, and then sometimes I would actually do lower than that. You know, I did one that was like 600. I was like, well, fuck that. You know, I'd rather do the armor piercing rounds, and I feel a lot better with the armor piercing rounds just because the accuracy is a little bit better than with high explosive rounds. Now with the equipment, like I said, you want the enhanced gun laying drive. You really want to get that that extra 10% of aiming speed. You really want a large caliber tank gun rammer for the loading time, and then also I got the binoculars, so I would have that extra scope because you're not going to be brawling with this tank. The only time you're going to brawl is if you're like the last tank out there, or unless you really have a good hold down spot. But even then, I'm kind of iffy about brawling. Anyways, but you really want to get this up, and then the perks of your crew up as much as possible. Right now, we're working on camouflage. This is a different crew than the last one. I accidentally picked the wrong crew, but they did have more stuff on it. So we're working on camouflage, but we do have 6 cents on there, and then I can't remember the other one on there. It's another experience booster, so for your crew. Anyways, let's take this thing out and see how it does. Alright guys, we're on Fisherman Bay Standard Battle, and we've got 3 tier 10s. Of course, one had to be a T92, which already loves these tanks. A couple of T30s, U75, Jack Tigers. None of these I'm really worried about, except the Waffle Off Panzer IV. And then the rest are tier 8s and a tier 7, so not terrible. So, anyways, let's get moving. Of course, why are we getting an extra fucking tank than they do? Alright, let's see how this goes. Now, I usually like going right on this map. On along this ridge line, but we'll see what happens. I might switch up, depending. I might switch up and go near the town a little bit. I might even go up to this town up here. Whew. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I worked last night and I haven't slept yet, and it's oh god, I'm tired. Anyways, guys, I know you guys have been still asking about the subscriber party. I'm still working on it, dudes. It's taken me forever to figure something out. I've been so busy with new ideas, and like these videos, these take me a while. You know, I do a lot of editing on these, and I haven't edited this video yet, but I know from past experiences, usually these things take me all day to freaking do. So, and sometimes if something messes up, I gotta restart something, or ugh, it can really piss me off. Ooh, there's a T30. Can I hit him? Yes, I can. Booyah! Boop! As I said, once you get the 155 on this thing, you're gonna be like, fuck you all, I'm gonna own your asses. You're not gonna be able to do a damn thing. I'm the king, you are the bitches. Whatever I do, I will fucking kill you all. Yeah, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna waste it. I was like, should I waste it? But it's, I always feel with this barrel, because it does so much damage, that I'm playing in my FV, kind of, and I'm worried about how much money it's gonna cost, but really, to be honest with you, it's only like, what, 1,600 for a, on this tank. It really does not cost that much to actually use this tank. To be honest with you, the FV costs like 2 or 3 times this amount. So this is why I'm actually, if you guys don't know, I only camouflage tanks that I'm going to keep. And I plan on keeping this tank, because I think it's going to be a very good experience builder. I do need some more tank destroyers. I know I really don't, but I want to make myself feel like I need more tank destroyers. Anyways, I really want to keep this thing because I think it's going to be a nasty tank to have. And, you know, plus, yes, I could keep the T110E4, which I'm going to do. But the thing is this thing can see tier 8 and tier 9s, and that's it. Where the T110E4 is going to see tier 10s all the time. So. Oh, man, I wish that T28 prototype would come up here. Because I would blow his ass a new one. Come on. I think he's dead. Yeah. Fuck. I shouldn't have shot. Man, if I had a round right now, I would blow him a new butthole. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. He's not very fast. He's not very fast. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. I knew I was going to pen him no matter what I did, but the problem is that I didn't want to miss. You could see how big the circle is around this tank. I mean, even if I was perfect on him, I had everything showing right now, there's still a chance of it flying anywhere with this tank. So, wow, we are just dominating these little bastards. This is great. Now I need to get over, because I need to help them with this Jag Tiger. I think that's who's over here, to be honest with you. Hello, T30. I know you had the big derpy too. It's so funny now having this big derp gun, because I was like, how are these T30s kicking my ass so much? And then I'm thinking, like, you know what? All the other T30s never did it like this. And then, like, a couple weeks ago, a whole bunch of people started using this barrel again or something. I don't know what it was, but I started getting my ass kicked. So I was like, fuck, man, I can't wait until I get that tank. And once I did, I'm loving it. I have to tell you guys, it's been a while since I've loved the tank this much. Oh, fuck. I was hoping to get a good shot in there. You know, it's been a while. I mean, I love my AMXs that I've been running with, but this one, I can go out and I laugh my ass off even when I die, like right off the bat. I've died within 4 minutes of the battle starting, but I've laughed my ass off because even within the couple of minutes I've been playing, I've done so much damage. Like right now, I've done a little bit of damage, not as much as I would usually do with only 3 or 4 rounds, but it's still nasty. It's still fucking nasty. This tank can kick some royal ass. Oh man, that sucks. Not gonna get down here in time. As you can see, the speed's not bad. I mean, we're going through stuff pretty quickly. Unfortunately, that FE is probably going to kill this guy before I ever even get a chance to shoot at him, which is sucking big monkey balls. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Just, yay! We took a shot. I just wanted to randomly shoot. Oh, God. Hey, how's it going, Tiger? You know, in World War II, I was made to kick your ass. And I can see why. You're fucking small as a little bitch. Yeah, look at the comparison. I mean, the American, you know, we're really trying to make some big-ass tanks. And then I feel like this would have been a nasty thing on the field. It would have been nice to see it really in its heyday. Alrighty, guys, 36,000 in silver, 1,798 in experience points. As I said, look at that, 4 rounds at a 2,000 something damage. So, you know, about 500, you know, 500 damage around. Even though I know some of those tanks were, let's just look at that real quick. Look at that, T30, 692 damage. T57 didn't have that much left to him, and T20 didn't have that much left to him. But if you can look at the ones that actually had a decent amount of life, like the AT15, 757 damage, 692 on the T30. I've seen anywhere between that and like 900 damage. I've done some really nasty damage on this tank with this tank. Alrighty, guys, well, that is the T30 in a nutshell. We will be showing this off more on the live streams and other videos. So we're going to be working our asses off to get to the T110E4. So we're almost there on that. Also on the AMX 120, I'm about halfway to the last barrel, the 120 millimeter, I think. Let's take a look at that real quick, just so I am perfectly clear on this. Okay, we're a little bit less than halfway, but still, we're getting there. Not too bad though. But yeah, 120 millimeter. But we should have that pretty shortly. Shouldn't take us too long to get that. I've been running that. Actually, I've been running the T30 a lot. I just got this barrel, I think, yeah, yesterday. About, I don't know, sometime in the afternoon. And then I've probably only played 4 or 5 hours, if that. Not even that. Maybe 3 hours with this barrel, and I've already got 26,000 saved up. I mean, it's a nasty tank. It's very, very nasty once you get the last barrel. Anyways, guys, a little bit change up of Twitch. I told you guys I would be on Tuesday night and Wednesday night. I'm actually going to be on Monday night and Tuesday night because actually my days changed on what days I have off. So expect that to happen. Monday night and Tuesday night will be the night I'm going to be doing Twitch if I do anything. Also, I'm thinking about doing some other things like I have Grand Theft Auto. A lot of my friends and I have been playing that, and also Far Cry 4 has been a lot of fun just screwing around. I might post some of those videos up. I usually just play those on the weekends just to relax from World of Tanks because I need a break. But I don't know. I might post those up too. Who knows? I record them, but then I usually delete them because like, my guys like World of Tanks. I don't know. I might change some of it. Anyways, what's the other thing I was going to say? That's all I could think of. Anyways, guys, I'm WizardKen. I'm sorry. I've been working my ass off to try to get better tanks up here quicker and quicker, but sometimes, you know, Xbox Live gets hacked and we get screwed over. So, yeah, so I was going to have this up last night, but I didn't get a chance to finish doing all of my recording because, you know, Xbox Live got shut down. So, anyways, guys, I'm WizardKen. Till next time, see ya!